Hi guys. So actually my name is @MacDroid. I guess you would be knowing me in the group. And here I'll be mostly concentrating on the part of the OSCP requirements and preparation phase. So basically, when OSCP or pen testing, it is almost the similar. What all things we do in the pen testing, we perform at the OSCP labs as well, and that's why I have written the main topic as a pen testing over here. And I'll just be giving you an overview what exactly things to be done in the examination and preparation for the examination. So let's talk about the pre-examination phase, like what exactly we should be doing and what exactly we should be knowing before preparing for the examination. And according to me, what I have done was like I used to like read lots of forums, lots of blogs like High on Coffee is there, Got Milk is there, Dirty Cow is there. So we need to just go on those forums and try to read and understand about what exactly those people are trying to say, or those people are trying to perform. And for the practical purpose, what you need to do is like you should start with the Valhalla machines with the beginner level, and later on move up to the high difficulty one like hard or expert level or something like that. And with that, it would be very helpful for you guys if you go ahead with the HTB machines, because HT machines, as compared to the OSCP examinations, are very hard as compared to what we get into the OSCP machines. This is what I have felt out while preparing myself for the OSCP examinations. And till now, what we were discussing was about the pen testing, why pen testing, what all things should be done in the pen testing, which relates to the OSCP examination. But right now, I'll be dealing current only specific to OSCP examination. What things you should remember in the examination, how to go ahead in the examination part, and what all things you need to understand before the examination as well. So the first part was I'll be concentrating was on the development sector. A lot of people have asked me about the question like how much development knowledge should be they should be knowing about cracking the buffer overflow machines, or the other understanding or cracking the other exploits or the other machines. So see, OSCP examination is like 100 marks, 25, 25, 20, 20 and 10. And like you can score very easily 25 marks if you crack the buffer overflow machine. That is, it is very easy if you know a bit of assembly language, just to understand what exactly the application is running out. And the other part, which is there, you should be understand, you should be having knowledge about the Python. I am not asking you to get pro into the Python development or something like that, but you should be very well versed with the Python concepts, and you should be able to modify some exploits which is being present into the environment. You should be knowing about the libraries. Also, you should be knowing about the registers which is there coming into the buffer overflow in the assembly programming. So mostly I'll tell you guys to focus on registers and the libraries section part in the Python, so that you can like you can understand what exactly it is, and you can start performing your activity very easily. The moving out of the buffer overflow, what I experienced was like the network enumerations plays a very important role into the OSCP. Network enumerations plays a very important part in the OSCP examination. If you don't enumerate or scan the network properly, definitely you won't be able to find out the proper exploits or which service versions you should be exploitable. There are many rabbit holes placed into the examination point of view, so you need to be smart enough to identify which is the port which is being carried away as a rabbit hole, and which is the proper exploit. So I'll be telling you one instance, like there were few machines in the OSCP wherein I also got stuck within the rabbit hole, and I spent it around 4 to 5 hours just to understand whether why the exploit is not running on the machines. But you need to be very smart enough to identify. And then I further enumerated more ports and more services which was there into the scanning part, and then I got to know what exactly proper exploit was there, and I was able to penetrate those machines easily. Then other part of that the network scanning is the port forwarding. Some of the machines you will be getting like they won't be directly accessible to your network, so you need to use some proxy tools or some proxies. You need to set it into your host machine, and then you can scan it, or you can view the actual web application. So you need to be smart enough to do that as well, and you will be able to understand while scan if you have done the proper scanning. So I'll tell according to me, I'll tell like you spend more amount of time on enumerations and scanning, so that it becomes very easy for you guys to exploit the machines and get the local shell easily. Now when it comes to enumeration and recurrence, so there are few pointers where you need to understand it very important to understand. The first part, which comes to the network part. So in the network part, what we try to find out the important ports which are open, like many a times you will find SSH, many of times you will find FTP, many times you will find uh, uh, I'll just check. I'll answer your question, brother. Just give me a moment. I'll just answer your question as well. Let me finish up the recognition tab, and then I'll get it to your lab exams as well. So what happens in this part is like once you start scanning the examination machine and you find out the important ports like FTP, you can say SSH, you can say SMTP, SNMP, IMAP, or some mail proxies are being on. So you need to understand and check whether which exploits can be run. Very important part over there is like you need to know the date of the exploit and the time of the exploit. So you need to correlate the exploits, whether this exploit would be working on at this particular time or not. So you need to understand that. Then coming down to web part, wherein like I have solved around 2 machines of 20 marks that was based on the web application. So over there, what you need to do is like you need to understand the first basic concept of web penetration testing, that is OWSP top 10, and you need to dig through the top 10 vulnerabilities, because as per my experience, I have seen the vulnerabilities what I have got into the machines was belonging to the one of the top 10 only. So you need to practice a lot of things into the OWSP top 10, especially to I can say SQL injections, XSE, XSS. These are the three major things where you need to concentrate. Even sometimes it would be CSRF as well. So you need to concentrate on these four vulnerabilities majorly to crack the OSCP examination, I can say. Then how you get the access to the system via web application, it is simple, as simple as that. See, if you are penetration testing or pen testing a web application, definitely you will try to upload a shell and get a reverse connection. Then once you get the reverse connection, upload a shell and start getting the reverse connection. Sometimes it would be very low permissible shell, and you need to execute some other shells into it so that you get higher permissions to execute another part of the exploits. So this can also be happen. So you don't need to just start exploiting anything anywhere like that. So you need to be very smart enough to understand which permissions is been given to you at which location. It doesn't make any sense to upload a shell into the FTP directly, because it would be only read access only. So whether you upload it or execute anything into the FTP directly, definitely it won't be working and it won't be giving you the answers of it. So you need to understand that as well. Then SMB enumeration plays a very important role in the OSCP examination. There are few machines also coming for the SMB enumerations, and you need to identify, you need to enumerate the SMB. You need to send the exploit into the temp folder and execute it and get the shell. This is also possible, and you need to understand how SMB enumeration is been done. Then you need to care about the null session which has been there, which is coming into the SMB enumeration only. So you need to practice those part as well. Now coming down to your question, brother, that the labs one, how will you go for the labs and all? See, according to me, what I have felt it, I have solved all the labs of the OSCP machines. So what I have felt is the labs are a bit outdated, because still it is having machines of XP and all. So there would be few machines in the labs which is very good, so you should practice those part. I'll tell those machine name into the personal, as this is a public webinar, I cannot disclose the IP address and everything. So just ping me in the public. The benefits of the lab is like you get a good hands-on on few stuffs. You can say one of the stuffs you can say is the SMB enumerations. You have one machines in the lab which will help you to do the SMB enumeration properly. Then you have one machine which concentrate on FTP enumerations as well. So you have you get a good hands-on on those FT enumerations part as well. And while doing the lab, it is one thing you will be very clear that you understand the enumeration and recurrence part very easily. That will help you to go into escalating the privilege escalation of that machine. That would be very helpful. Which one is the best one, Valhub or but no doubtly Hack the Box is one of the best because the level of the Hack the Box is a bit higher than the Valhub. But according to my personal experience, what I will do is like I'll ask people to start with the Valhub's machine so that they get a clear concept of the beginner level concept. They should be very well versed with it, and then later on move up to the Hack the Box machines, which is a bit complicated. This a bit complicated it is because like the walkthroughs are not available, and the Valhalla machines the walkthroughs are available, so people can go through the walkthroughs. Is it good to do a retired machine? Yes, it is. Yes, it is good. There are some choose how to choose the right exploit, providing the list of the pointers or documentation would be specific. Okay, I'll just focus on that, but let me come to the exploitation part as well. And yes, it is very good to solve the retired HTB machines as well, because some of the exploits which can be helpful in the examinations which is in the retired HTB machines. Now, what about the virtual hacking labs? I have not heard about the virtual hacking labs, bro. I really don't know what is actual hacking, virtual like hacking labs. If you meant to say that it like you want to create a virtual lab into your own environment, then definitely it is good. Definitely you can download different VMs into your machines and you can go ahead with that. How to get access to the router? Yeah, let me come down to exploitation part and I'll do that. Yes, let me come down to the exploitation and privilege escalation part. I guess you guys are more eager to get into the exploitation part and how to get the root access. Okay, so let's come to the exploitation topic, which is very important part in the OSCP examination. Why? Because until unless you don't exploit, you don't get the access. It is as simple as that. But before exploitation, you need to know like what all modifications should be done into the proper exploit. So I'll just give you one scenario of exploit DB. Like if you see if you go on to the exploit DB, and for example, if I take any of the exploits, just check local exploits. Yeah, local privilege escalation. Let's take this exploit. So now if whatever exploitation you select, you need to read it very carefully and you need to understand what this exploit would be doing. First of all, many people get confused in the remote exploit and the local exploit. So you need to be very well versed and you need to understand the concept which exploit can be run locally, which exploit can run on the remotely. So it is straight away written that it is a local privilege escalation. So running this exploit, you cannot run this exploit directly. You should be having a low shell or something into that machine, then only you can run this exploit. So you need to understand this concept as well. Now let's check about the exploits. What it is doing is the nc nixflow query. So it is working on the particular you can say the application. So if you find this application running on those machines, then only this exploit will be working, or else this exploit won't work. It is as simple as that. So people spend a lot of time finding the exploits and checking different exploit without enumerating. But enumeration is a key to success. Always remember this. The more you enumerate, the more ways you can open to crack the machines. The more you enumerate, the more things you find out, the more loopholes you discover into the machines. There are more chances to crack those machines very easily without digging more into the exploits and running 100 of exploits straight away. It is as simple as that. Then let's talk about the shells in depth. So when performing a penetration testing or doing the examination point of view, you will be knowing that there are many types of shells which would be used There would be reverse shell, there would be bind shell, there would be web shells. Then the reverse connection you can take on NC or on any other Metasploit. Yeah, let's come down to Metasploit. Metasploit can be used only once throughout the whole exam, only once. You cannot use Metasploit twice, you cannot. And if you do it straight away, that machine marks would be deducted, and even if you have cracked those machines with the use help of Metasploit, the marks won't be getting and you won't be passing the examination. So make sure only one point of time you use the Metasploit, and you can exploit one machine only. That's it. Now let's, as I was talking about the shell part, the shell, you need to be very smart enough which shell you want to use. So my favorite is like I normally use one-liner shells, which is very easily and which can be sent easily and which can be executed very easily. One-liner, so you should concentrate on one-liner shell that would be easily available on Pen Test Monkey. That there would be Bash shell, there would be Python shell. You need to understand all those things. There would be some shells would be working on the local exploits to get your to escalate your privilege as well. So I'll tell you, while I was solving one of the HTB machines, I got to know that I got a local access. Now, when I was performing some tasks with the local access, I wasn't able to do it because the shell which I used was not having those permissions or was not capable of doing or performing those exploitations and all. So what I did was like I just opened another shell into a shell. So basically I opened two shell on the local part, and then on the other shell I started running the exploits or local exploits, you can say, for getting the privilege escalation. Now let's come down to enumeration part for the privilege escalation. I'm talking specifically to the privilege escalation part. Now many people fail to get the root of the machines. This is why, because they would not be knowing proper services or the application which is running on those machines that can help you to exploit it and run the and get the root access. So what you need to do is check the folders, check each and every directories which is there into the machines. You cannot ignore anything. There would be some or the other part. For a local privilege escalation, there are two parts. You can say Linux and Windows also. So you need to also check the services and the application permission, on which permissions the applications are running, whether those applications is running on the user level or those applications are running on the root level. So definitely, if you want to have a root access, you need to understand, you need to exploit all those permissions which are running on root. If you want to have a root access, I repeat it again, if you want to have a root access, then you need to understand the services which are running on the root users. Like you cannot get a root access with a service which is locally running on the user level. Definitely it won't work. No doubt you have exploited it, but it still won't give you a root access. So enumeration plays a very important role. When it comes to the enumeration part, there are two different types of enumerations you need to perform in the examination. The first is the Windows enumerations, and the second is the Linux enumeration. These are the two types of machines which we normally get into the examination. So for the Windows enumeration, I can help you. Like I can give you a script called as JAWS. JAWS, Windows enumeration script. It is very helpful if you run this JAWS enumeration script. This would be very helpful for you, and also that it is available in the GitHub library. You can just download it, and you can just execute the script into the local part, and then please share the best forum names. Could you please? Yes, I'll definitely share the best forum names as well. Let me complete this part. So the JAWS will help you to enumerate all the services running onto the Windows machines, and Windows machines, all the applications which are running on the Windows machines or Windows server. With that, you can also use power up scripts, power up So this is another very good script which will help you to enumerate it more deeply, and you can definitely use these two scripts if you get a Windows machine to enumerate it. And the other part is the SC query is another part wherein you can use those things and you can enumerate it the other way. But definitely, I guess these two, if you run these two things in the examination, it would be more than enough to for you guys to understand which services are running at with permissions and which services can be exploitable. And then coming on to the Linux enumerations, then I'll be coming on to the Linux enumeration. That would be there's just like the power up and JAWS, there is a lin such like lin enum. You can just download this lin. So you can just download this lin enumeration scripts and you can just run it into the local as a local user. You'll get to know the number of applications and the permissions which is been the applications are using or the services are user. That would be very helpful for you guys to understand which services to exploit in the examination. So these are the basic two things what I'll tell you for the privilege escalations. You need to understand it very carefully and you need to perform it very carefully. Now let's talk about the modification of the exploit. As I told, like taking this example, the previous example, you need to download it and you need to check the modules which are there into the exploits and which module it will attack. Many instances you'll get the directly URL and you can say the direct location where the exploits are running. So you can use those exploits and those use those locations directly and you can just crack the machines. Now, on the buffer overflow, yes, a very important part. There are three main things you need to understand. First one is the payload, what exactly, which payload will be executing and all. The other part is the knobs which is there coming into the machines. Any demo on privilege escalation? Definitely I share one demo. I have already made one video. I'll be sharing into the group that how to do a privilege escalation with the Linux part and how to do privilege escalation on the Windows part using both the JAWS and the power up and also using those linsh script. So don't worry guys, I'll be sharing you those part as well in the later part. Now the buffer overflow, these are the three main things you need to concentrate on: the payloads, the knobs and the finding bad characters. Finding bad characters plays a very important part. If any, normally there are 4 to 7 bad characters that has been there into the machine. So you need to remove all the bad characters and then you need to run the exploits and put the code, exploitation code and encode your payloads into the exploitation code and run it. It is very easy. So if you are targeting like the according to me, this is the buffer overflow is very easy, like very easy 25 marks machine. So even like once you solve the buffer overflow machines, it will hardly take an hour or two to crack this machine if you do it properly, or even less than that. So you need to understand the concept about the assemblies. You need to understand about the exploit which has been given onto the OSCP examination. So the best part is like in the OSCP examination is they'll give you the payload itself. So you need to, they'll give you the exploitation code as well. So you just need to edit those exploitation codes and run it. So the best 24 or 25 marks you can easily score is in this buffer flow. Yeah. On the last step, it is like a report writing and report uploading. When uploading spelling is I've made a mistake, so please ignore this part. The best part of this is like many at times like one of the users only, it is stack based buffer overflow, right? So the normally when the exam it is coming, it is on the stack based. There is no he based, a bit complicated as compared to stack based, so don't worry about it. Now let's come down to report writing. Now report writing plays a very important role. If you don't write a report properly, definitely it will be it is like the whole thing what you have done into the practical part, it will go on waste, and you need to be very careful about it. You need to take the screenshots properly, like each and every steps which exploits. So I'll just list down the things you should need to take care about while writing the report or making the report. The first thing is like the scanning result. What ports, what services are open, you need to show them that. The second step would be the enumeration part, or the exploit which you would be using it for exploiting a particular port or a section, that part. Then the third part would be the exploit name, where which exploit with the proper URL, you need to take that as well. Then the exploitation, like if you don't put the exploitation methods or the steps, it is not necessary to put all the methods, but the modification which you have done into the exploit, that is very important. You need to take the screenshot of that as well. And after the exploitation part, which like you need to write who am I, or you can say the IP address. You need to check which IP address of the machine you need to show with the local.txt or proof.txt, whatever it is been there, whether it is a root level or it is a you can say a user level. So you need to take the screenshot of that as well, highlighting the proof.txt and the IP address of that machine. Important part is like once you get the proof.txt and local.txt, you need to upload those both the keys into the examination control panel, which is there, which will be coming into your own mail only. So you need to open those examination control panel. You need to put all the proof.txt and local.txt, whatever you have done it or visited it or whatever you have taken it. The other part is like once the report is being made, you need to go and check it thoroughly that you have not missed out any steps, you have not missed out any important screenshots, or you have not missed out any important exploit which needs to be present over there, or you have used those exploit using cracking those machines. So you need to be there, especially when it comes to buffer overflow. You need to be very specific about the buffer exploits, with which part the exploit is running, which part you are putting your shell code, when you are removing the bad characters. All those screenshots should be detailed, and you need to explain them in a detailed manner, that which all things you need to get it. Buffer exploit.py, that would be coming into your examinations, and you need to understand and read that exploit properly, and then you need to perform it. So guys, I hope I'm very clear with the examination point of view, what all things you need to take care and what all things you need to accept. Can you repeat the steps of the report? Okay. So first of all, for the reports, you need to be very specific of what you are writing, and you need to be very specific of the screenshots what you are taking. So for the steps of the report, how we go ahead is like, first you do the scanning part. So you need to have a scan result and screenshot of the scan result. Then the service, whatever you are exploiting or whatever you are selecting, which exploit would be running. So you need to have a screenshot and the URL of those exploit. For example, if I have used any exploit of the exploit database, then you need to take that exploit, the CVE name and the URL of those exploits, put all the three things into the report. And then afterward, after the exploitation, what you got, a root access or a local access, a local user access of that with the IP address of that machine, you need to have a screenshot with that part as well. So basically each and every machines would be having at least minimum 4 to 5 screenshots. You cannot just put one screenshot, two screenshot directly screenshot of the proof.txt or local.txt. It is not advisable and it is not permissible as well from the offensive security. So they have a guidelines as well set up, so please read those guidelines as well, because many people fail to rename it or put the password properly while uploading and all those things. You need to take care about that part. So read the manuals, what exactly it is coming from the OSCP part or OSCP examination part. Okay. So, guys, I am just muting it for 3 minutes or 2 minutes. So, whoever viewing the this webinar can put down their question into the comment section, and I can answer one by one of them. So, I'm just muting it for 2 minutes. Just write down all the questions, whatever needed to you guys. You can just share me, send or comment it below. I'll answer one by one. How can we manage the timing during the examination? Good question. So see, you need to be first of all, you need to be very calm during the examination. You don't need to hurry up the things. 24 like 23 hours and 45 minutes a huge time for cracking five machines. So what you can do is like for example, buffer overflow, as I told, like 25 marks is the most easiest machines you can score it out. So buffer overflow will take around 2 hours, and the rest of the machines depend upon the difficulty level, whether it is coming on the local exploit, web exploit, or network exploit. And also I'll be telling you to take take regular breaks during the examination. Why I'm telling it? Because your mind also needs a break. Go out and take a fresh air, go out and take a sip of juice, and come in and again reappear for restart your examination. The time management is plays a very important role, wherein selection of the machines. If you have stuck on the machine, on a particular machine, and you are not able to get a local access, or you can say you are not able to get any access into machine, just leave that machine and go on the other machines and try to get that part. Leave that, whatever machines you are not able to solve, don't spend more than 2 hours on any machines if you are not able to get anything. If you have got the local access and then you need to perform the route and you are spending time, it is fair enough. I can expect like you can spend 2 3 hours on each machines. And other part is like the 10 marks machine. It is another easy machines which comes in the examination. So try targeting buffer overflow and the 10 marks machine. You are sorted with the 35 marks, and then you have a 19 to 20 hours of time, and you can exploit any of the three machines easily in that period of time. Do the report carry marks? Yes, bro. If you don't submit the report, you are failed. Simple. And the lab report also yeah. According to me, earlier, OSCP, when I gave the OSCP, the report used to carry some marks. But frankly speaking, just don't rely on those the lab report and all. Just try to clear your 70 marks on the first go itself. I am from Windows background, but really interested in learning. So I appear for the same. See, it doesn't matter whether you are coming from a Windows background or a Linux background. Until unless you need to perform some pen testing work, you need to have a good hands-on on the Linux part. So if you are no doubt you are coming from the Windows background, but still while performing the pen testing, and especially coming down to this course, talking about this course, it is like penetration testing with Kali Linux. So definitely you need to understand the Kali Linux, and you need to learn about Kali Linux as well. Out of 5 we need to crack 4. Nobody, it is not like that you need to crack 4 machines. It is like you need to get 70 marks. You crack 3 machines, you crack 4 machines, but buffer flow overflow is mandatory. So you need to crack buffer overflow, and the rest, whatever you crack all 4 low shells or all 4 high shells. Root access, they don't care about that. They care is like you need to achieve 70 marks. Any video tutorial for the BOF? Yes, there are video tutorials for the buffer overflow, which I have already made it. I'll put those video tutorials into the group. Don't worry about it. Windows privilege escalation, there is a good blog called as Got Milk and Dirty Cow. Both are good blog. You can go on those blog and you can get it out. Also, if there is something less, then you can go on to High on Coffee blog as well. These are the blogs. Don't have experience in pen testing, so if you don't have experience in pen testing, definitely I should tell you that go for the lower certifications like CEH and ECSA, get some hands-on experience, get some knowledge in pen testing, and then apply for the OSCP examination. Don't apply directly for the OSCP. Ultimately it will land you, like it will you'll fail in the very first attempt. Again, you'll be wasting a lot of money over there as well. How much Linux PC and how much Windows PC? It is like nothing. It is not sure that how much Windows machine comes into the examination, how much Linux machine comes in the examination. But at least I'll tell one Windows and one Linux is for sure. But I'm not sure about the other stuffs as well. Like it depends completely on the OffSec, how much Windows and how much Linux machine they give in the examination. Yeah, one more thing you need to be very careful. It is like the exploits are not directly, you cannot run the exploit always directly, just download and run it and you'll get the access. No, it needs to be changed. And what needs to be changed, that you need to practice it. If you are able to get user access, does they provide partial marks? Yes, bro. If once you are able to get the user, you get the partial marks of that user part. It is not necessary every machines you'll be cracking out or you'll be having a root access of every machine. So for example, you have cracked out buffer overflow, you cracked out 10 marks machine 35, and uh, you have cracked two low shells and one with the row. Still it is coming out to 75 marks. You are passed, bro. What were the blogs you were referring? Dirty Cow and Got Milk, one of the best and one of my favorites. And also for the exam, no tunneling is required and all those things it is there. So if anyone is asking, someone have told like tunneling and all, no, for tunneling and all those things is not required in the examination, bro. Nothing. It is direct, like you can connect to the examination server with via VPN. That's it. I don't know more programming. So yes, as I told in the earlier phase, you don't need to be a developer for cracking this examination. You just need to understand what Python is, how Python libraries work, how assembly works. You need to understand all those things, concepts. Conceptual wise, you need to understand those parts. I'm not asking you to get pro into development and then go for the OSCP exam. All you need to understand is like you can modify the exploits properly. Any other questions? Will there is a difference in difficulties between the labs and machine? Absolutely yes, bro. The labs is completely different and the examination is completely different. The labs are easy, examination would be a bit tough. Uh, while comparing to the lab, I'll tell the lab is very easy, the machines are very hard. If you tell me to compare the difficulty level of the machines, I'll tell that the Valhub machines are okay for the OSCP. Hack the box are more difficult from as per the OSCP examination point of view. Then another good blog is like Fuzzy Security as well, fuzzysecurity.com. You can just visit those blog as well. It is very good. Mark segregation for each. So buffer overflow consists of 25 marks. There would be one more 25 marks machine that becomes 50. There would be one machine of 10 marks that becomes 60, and two machines of 20 marks each. How to learn modify exploits, that's what that for over there you need to understand the basic coding languages of Python. So you need to understand which shell can be executed and where it can be modified over there. Any other questions? I'll do one thing. I won't write it publicly over here. I'll just text all those blog names and everything in the group. Any example how hard 25 machine would be? According to me, it is like you need to be very smart enough to identify the 25. It is like, see, the difficulty level of the 25 marks machine would be a bit higher. You need to understand all these three concepts: network, web, and also sometimes support forwarding as well. You need to know all these concepts together and put it in place. You need, but yes, 25 marks machine, you need to spend most of the time in this all three section: network, web, and enumeration part, very important part, enumeration and recon. What's your channel name? As this is a free webinar, we won't be disclosing any channel or something like that. This is for once. This webinar is only will be used by our group member, whoever would be willing to give any webinar on any such topics. So this channel would be dedicated to that. And if you want to connect me personally, you can just at the rate Macdroid is my username in the Telegram. You can just connect to me directly over there. At the rate Macdroid. I'm just writing that part over here, so that would be helpful for you. So at the rate ADROID, this would be my username for the Telegram. For any other queries and other part, you can just connect me over Telegram directly over here. Uh, so it depends on the users which are coming or joining into the group. If they ask us to perform more webinars or seminars like this, we are very happy to go ahead with that part. We don't mind sharing knowledge. 1 month lab, yeah, fair enough. 1 month lab for the OSCP is fair than enough, more than enough, and you can rather spend more time on HTB machines. That would be very helpful for you. But still, 1 month you need to dedicatedly stuck to that those lab only. That will be very helpful. Any other questions, guys? I guess we are done then. So thank you so much, guys, for coming and watching it. I guess there were a lot of people who joined it, and there were a lot of people who are viewing this webinar. Thank you so much. And I'll be ending the stream right now, and later thing I'll be sharing the screenshot of this or this image into the group as well. And any queries, I have already given you my Telegram ID. Anyone can connect to this Telegram ID, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. As per the examination point of view or the preparation point of view, I'll be able to help you guys. Yeah, you can take your exam from home anywhere you want to. It's just you need to be sure that there is no one present into the room from where you are giving the exam. Yeah, definitely. I'll share all the good blogs names into the groups, and I'll be sharing the video tutorials as well for the buffer overflow and the root exploitation as well, like privilege escalation part as well. I'll be sharing those videos. I'll be creating those videos and I'll sharing it on the group. Yeah, 1 month lab is more than enough. Just take 1 month lab, and rest you can just practice it on the hack the box machine. So thank you, guys. Rest of the questions can be answered in the group. So you are requested to, if you are not, if you haven't joined the group, just join the group. We'll be sharing the link again publicly, and I'll be there into the group to solve your queries related to OSCP examinations and the preparation steps as well. Thank you so much. I'm putting down putting down the stream. It was nice having you guys on board. Thank you.